I was there September 25th, 2014, for Derek Jeter's last game at Yankee Stadium.
I was there for Derek Jeter's last home game.
I was there September 25th, 2014 for Derek Jeter's last home game.
I was there for Derek Jeter's last home game.
I was there on September 25th for Derek Jeter's last game at Yankee Stadium.
When I drove to the ballpark, I remembered having seen him the first day he came to spring training camp all those years earlier.
I wondered what his emotions were going to be. I thought that the fans would be sad. I thought it would be melancholy because you're going to see a great career come to an end.
Emotions coming to the stadium on my last day was, I was anxious. I was emotional. Really, for the first time, I didn't know how I was going to react or how I was going to respond to anything.
We watched this kid literally grow up from when he was drafted as a teenager and then to this moment and all the great moments that he gave the fans and the broadcasters. I thought that it was going to be a really heavy night.
I've always prided myself on sort of keeping my emotions hidden and in check while I was playing.
I think that's been part of his strength. He never, ever really tipped you off what was going on inside.
This was the first time that I thought I was really going to lose it.
It was a day where you could tell that he was different.
He looked nervous, and that was the first time I ever saw him not seem composed.
He was focused, but I think there were a lot of things running through his mind at the time.
Kind of surprised me, I've never seen him like that.
I think the moment got to him. I think it got to him emotionally.
For me, it was a pretty difficult game to actually perform in.
You could tell this right from the beginning of the game that this was a different night for him.
A lot of it was a blur. There was a lot of things where my mind was wandering and thinking about all the years that I played.
He couldn't find one of his batting gloves. And I've never seen Derek not know where something's at. There was something going inside of his heart.
That one is drilled deep to left field. Going back to the house. Still back. It's off the wall. Gardner rounds third. He will score. Derek Jeter with a double. That young man has a flair for the dramatic.
Well, you knew he was going to get a hit in the last game. You knew he was going to get on base and have the 46,000 people screaming and yelling.
I thought, this is Derek. This is the guy who hit a home run for his 3,000th hit.
When he hit that double, I said, that's Derek.
It was surreal, the roller coaster of emotions, the energy in the stadium.
And the way that day started out, it was typical.
In a way, the word that comes to mind is appropriate.
We came out in the top of the ninth inning. We were winning by a few runs.
You kind of get to the last inning and, we're ahead by, I think, 3 runs. And this isn't going to be very special. Something's got to happen.
One of the things that dawned on me is that Girardi might send out Brendan Ryan to play shortstop and allow Jeter to come off the field to everybody cheering.
If Robertson would have saved the game, I would have thought, nice ending. Not all-time ending, not forever ending, but nice ending.
That ball is gone. A home run for Adam Jones. Deep left, Young back, track, wall, see ya, tie game.
All of a sudden it's a 2-run game and then a 1-run game and then it's tied and I'm standing over there at third with my hands on my knees and saying this isn't how it was supposed to end.
And one of the things that hit me was that he needed Mariano Rivera tonight.
It's probably the favorite blown save in Yankee history.
My emotions went from I thought I might be taken out of the game and trying not to cry when I'm on the field still playing, to now all of a sudden they tied the game and I knew I was coming up to hit.
You kept looking in your scorecard saying, well, if this guy does this or this guy does that, then DJ will get up again.
I looked at the lineup before Robertson got out there in case Robertson gave it up when Derek would come up.
After they tied the game up, I immediately looked and saw that he was coming up third.
When you kind of starting to see him coming up, everybody started going, is this really happening right now?
You look up and see Jeter's name, and you just know instantly that he's going to win the game somehow.
20-year career, you're thinking about all different kind of memories. You're thinking about your family and your friends and how you got there.
Remember I was sitting out in the bullpen, the whole bullpen was out on the railing. No one was sitting down.
I was just, you know, like it was on pins and needles. I was excited.
The Yankees had a base runner and a youngster who was just up from the minors, Antoine Richardson, ran for him. He was bunted along to second, and Derek Jeter came up.
I thought that something special was about to happen, and I didn't want to foul it up on my end.
You almost knew that something magical was going to happen.
Now batting for the Yankees, number 2, Derek Jeter. Number 2.
Meek deals. Base hit to right field. Here comes Richardson. Here's the throw from Marquez. Richardson is safe. Derek Jeter ends his final game with a walk-off single. Derek Jeter, where fantasy becomes reality. Did you have any doubt?
He got that hit. I was lucky enough to be on deck, running up there to tell Antoine to slide.
I was kind of ready. That was why I was the first person out there. Actually, if they would have thrown out Antoine at the plate, I probably would have been standing there with me and G.
I would have been more surprised if he didn't win the game.
Oh yeah, I was surprised. Like I said, I didn't know what was going on half the time. Yeah, I was definitely surprised.
You know, since we watched him hit so many balls to the right side, so many big hits that he had, it was the typical Derek Jeter hit.
I used to call it a Jeterian swing. That base hit and where it went, that was Derek Jeter.
The way he did it, hitting a ball through the right side, which he had done so many times, and a game when he hit, I don't think you could have scripted it any better.
If you wrote that as a script for a movie or a television show, they'd rip it up and say this is implausible.
It's something I'll never forget. I get the goosebumps thinking about it. It was, you know, it was surreal. You couldn't have drawn it up any better.
I felt like I was part of a movie, to be honest with you.
I don't think that anybody necessarily expected it to end the way that it did, but then again, it probably didn't surprise too many people.
You look at his career, he's always stepped up in big moments.
It worked out perfectly, as it always seemed to do with Derek Jeter at Yankee Stadium.
It's definitely something that I'll remember for the rest of my life and I'll always cherish.
Yeah, just to be a part of that game was really special for me. Something I can always tell my kids about.
That game was something I'll never forget.
A great way for him to go out.
I was so happy for him. Just, you know, kind of caps off a great career.
And that was a fabulous end to Derek's Yankee Stadium career.
It's storybook stuff, man. It's crazy.
The thing about Derek, he always looked like he belonged on a baseball field and belonged at shortstop.
I'll probably be forgotten after I'm gone, but my voice is going to live on because Derek Jeter will not be forgotten, and that's really, really a cool thing.
I've never seen another athlete who could rise to the occasion like El Capitan. We will never see his like again.
You know, the career he's had, the magic that's kind of followed him, defines what pinstripes is all about.
He's a guy that played every game the same. He prepared the same. He showed up with the intent to win every single night.
He finished it the way he started it. Class, dignity, representing the symbol on our hat.
Being able to play with him the last 6 or 7 years, something that I'll always treasure.
Just to, you know, be able to call him a friend and be around him, you know, win a championship with him on the field and hang out with him off the field is pretty cool.
I'm trying to model my career after how he led. You know, he did it the right way for a long time.
When you look at Derek's life and his life in the game, you could probably make a movie of it.
So much of Derek Jeter's story with the Yankees seems to be a fairy tale, and this was a fairy tale ending.
A lot of magical moments for me here in Yankee Stadium, and that one sits right up there at the top.
You can see more Yankees on Demand and scoreboard content by clicking here. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel right here.